that up even further. Are you with me?
Yes.
Okay. So what's going to happen is there were a couple people with number 3. I had to go in and change it for percent and then subtract to either find the discount or the sales tax or tip. So we went from 4% all the way to what percent? 39. So that 39%. All right. My goal is that by the end of class, so as of now, we did make a little growth, which I'm proud of. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Has everybody submitted their test? Go ahead and close the computer out. Crystal, Genesis, Sean, John, Francisco, and Reggie, I need you to go ahead and submit. You don't have time to continue to try. So I'm going to pull up just our results because other classes took this too, and I'm curious to see how much growth we made.
No.
So it looks like we got 5 students who got below basic, and we had 2 students who got proficient, and then there are 13 students who I need to review a little bit further. So overall, I would say we made some growth in the proficient category. Below basic, we made some growth in the below basic area too, but again, there's going to be a push for the far below basic students so that we can make sure that we understand this standard a little bit better, okay? So what's going to happen now is you're going to put your WAGO classwork in your folder. And we need to go ahead and transition. Exit ticket. I do actually want to talk about the exit ticket that we just took, specifically question number 3. There were a couple of people who got question number 3 correct, but I want to go over before you go into your exit ticket. So question number 3 asks us about the discount, what the difference of the discount was, and the actual answer was $2.50. The reason why it was $2.50 is because our item was $25. And it looks like that one girl, she bought her costume for 30% off, and the other girl bought her costume for, it says 40% off. So one person ended up getting $10 off, the other person ended up getting $7.50 off. So your job was to find the difference. The difference represents what operation? Subtraction. So what we had to do is $10 minus $7.50, which was $2.50. So a lot of people did their multiplication right, but they only put $7.50 as the answer, or they only put $10 as the answer when the question asks for the difference. Some other things that I want to draw your attention to is that I know that you guys can do this, but some people are not keeping track of their decimal point and moving it over the correct amount of times. So just to clarify, if I have the percent 39%, which is about to go higher, I'll move the decimal point over twice and make it a decimal. I also make a little cloud on the side because in my answer, I'm going to need that information. Do we understand?
Yes.
Also, you guys know how to subtract, and you need to make sure you just show your work and take your time. What you're going to find now is an exit ticket on Illuminate. You will know it's an exit ticket because it says ET. You are not going to take the one that says classwork because we are done with classwork. So what I want you to do now is to go ahead and open the computer. And if you are already in classwork, you need to get out of your classwork and you need to go ahead and log into Illuminate and find the thing that says exit ticket March 17. not sure. I just want the results. So you should just focus on getting as many right as you can to show me what you know. Everybody's logged into the test. We want to go ahead and begin doing some careful and precise multiplication, paying attention to what the question is asking. Can you review the ones you got incorrect?
I did. Wait, no, I can't.
How did you finish that quick? That was, we know you didn't show good work and that you tried to just
I didn't
estimate.
do it just now. I didn't think it the other class. Because I thought it was from yesterday.
Good afternoon, teachers. It's now 2:57. Let's please be sure that we're ready for participants for a raising your class.
Go ahead. Please put 100% effort forth. You got this. You know what to do. What it says. Got it?
Yeah, I got her.
Are you showing work?
Yeah, I just finished this.
Nyla, you finished already? Where's the work for the 5 problems that I asked you to solve? From the Most people are on question 4 or 5. Please continue to show grit and give them time to focus if you've already finished. And please wait quietly to review the results. I'm excited to see how much growth we've made. I hope that it went up from 39%. and submit when we're done.
You eat peaches. Peaches.
Ticket where I'm expecting your scores to grow. Okay? So let me put up the slide that's gonna let us know what we're gonna do. All right, so those students who got yellow, those students are gonna start off watching the Learn Zillion video, and then if you finish early, you're gonna go ahead and go to Waggle to do some practice. And then I gave students who are red, you're gonna go ahead and start off with meeting with me. There are some practice problems that I put on Illuminate to give us some practice, but I'm first gonna let you watch the Learn Zillion video just so that you can get the lesson again from another teacher. In Illuminate, I wanna draw your attention to two different activities. Both of them have today's date on them. One of them says CW, which stands for classwork, and then one of them stands for ET, which stands for exit ticket. You are not gonna take the exit ticket until we're about to exit the class. So the one that is classwork, I will let you know when you need to make the transition to work on that. So we're actually gonna scratch Waggle, and after you finish your Learn Zillion, you're gonna go straight to the classwork and get yourself some more practice before I meet with you. So let's quickly do a transition. What that transition is gonna look like is if you got a yellow, you're gonna sit in the back two tables, and if you got red, you're gonna sit at the front table so that you can meet with me. Some people are not moving at all, so let's quickly make that transition. You can put the computers to the side. Quickly transitioning. Get red. We'll go to the U-shape. U-shape, perfect. Correct? What I want you to do is I want you to watch the video, and then in Illuminate there's going to be a classwork in Illuminate that has test questions practice. I want you to get some practice where it looks like an actual test. Make sure not to take the exit ticket, the one that says CW for classwork. Okay? So this video will review with you quickly some steps that I want you to take to Learn Zillion, and then after that, what are you moving to? To classwork on Illuminate. Derek, what are you moving to? Right, so the Waggle is going to be for the people that got green, but since we didn't, we need a little bit more practice, okay? And you guys are going to, I want you guys to actually go over and Learn also, and I'll be checking with you guys in practice. So go ahead and log on to Learn Zillion. Yes. Sorry, can you grab something there? You guys are meeting with me. Tell you guys to get on Learn Zillion. Thank you, Kendall, for pulling up a chair. So what you guys are going to do is you're going to be showing your work, any type of problems that I have you solve in this workspace. If you need any extra paper, I'll put a couple more out just so that you can have some scratch paper. But we're going to be going through some problems and reviewing the exit ticket, and then we may have time for a few more practice problems. After that, I'll give you a chance to watch the Learn Zillion so you can get some practice too. But know that at the end, we're going to be taking another practice exit ticket, okay? So right now, flip to the back so that you can have some practice space to work. Francisco, is there a reason why you're not on Learn Zillion? All right. So you guys, a percent represents, when do I have you? All right, a percent represents part of a whole. What is a percent out of? What's the total in percent? 100%. So percent, you don't have to write this, I just want you to watch. Percent means per 100. So on the exit, on the entrance ticket that you guys took, I gave you a problem that was just asking you to find the percent of another number. And it looks like in this group, number one asked us to, it said blank is 30% of 60. All right. Who got this one right? Okay. So we convert percent into a decimal by moving the decimal point over 2 places. So what I want you to do is I'm giving you 4 decimals, and I want you to just convert. I'm giving you 4%, and I want you to convert them into decimals. And just to show you, if I have a percent, 30%, I convert it to a decimal by taking away the percent sign, putting an imaginary decimal at the back, and moving it 2 spaces to the left. So even if I have a decimal already, if I have 17.5%, and I'm converting that to a decimal, I still move it over twice, and that becomes 0.175. So step 1 in your multiplication, you have to put the decimal there because the decimal helps you move the decimal point over in your answer. As I'm looking at question number 1, I see some people put 1.8, some people put 18, and some people put 0.18. So those are 3 different money numerical amounts: 18 cents, $1.80, and $18. 3 different things, right? Which one do you want? $18, right? So we can't make mistakes. Go ahead and quickly convert these percents into decimals on your paper. Take 10 seconds to do that. All right, what is 45% as a decimal? And what about 50? And what about 527? 5. If the decimal's here, how many times do you move it? 2 to the what? Left. So if it's here, where's it gonna go if I move it 2 places?
In the middle of 7 and 5.
In the middle of 5 and 7. So it will be 5.72. Okay. So back up to this problem. We want to make sure that we make it 0.30. We don't want to make it 0.30. We don't want to put the 30 at the end. But what this is of always tells you to multiply. So it was telling you to multiply 0.30 times 60. So when I do my multiplication, I want to set it up, and I want to make sure that I identify how many times I'm moving the decimal before I even start. I also want to estimate, is my answer going to be more than 60 or less than 60? I want 30%, a piece of 60. I want a piece of 60. So is it going to be more or less? Less. So I already know going into this that my answer is going to be less than 60. So go ahead and multiply really quick on your paper. Go ahead and multiply on your paper. Lyndon, let's go. Let's go. I only have a few more minutes with you guys, and I want to get you guys practicing. So let's go. What is it?
180.
All right. How many times do I need to move the decimal? 2. So it will be 1, 2. So it's 18.00, or you could have just written 18. Any of these answers would have got you the right answer. Got it?
Yes.
All right. So let's take it up a notch. Problem number 2 asked about an iPad. It said the iPad was $355. How much is the iPad? $355. So with that being said, it told us that the price was going to be going down. So in order for my price to go down, I need to know how much the price is going down by. Hand me that whiteboard really quick right there. So I need to know how much it's going down by. So go ahead and take your $355. And the percent is 17%. I want you to set up a multiplication problem where you're going to show me how much 17% of 355 is. Percents are telling us to multiply. So right now I'm looking for you to set up the problem of multiplication. The iPad on problem number 2 was $355 with 17% off. Add your decimal. Don't forget the decimal. It's important that you have the decimal there when you're doing your multiplication. You did that good job. So go ahead and start multiplying. Put the 2 in the clouds to show. Yes, Lily, I said 355 and I also wrote 355 there. I see Kennedy has her decimal before the 1, and she also has a little 2 in the cloud showing me that it's going to be 17. Alright, Kennedy, I need you to set up a problem that's showing me how to find 17% off. Let's go ahead and do our multiplication together really quick. 7 times 5 is what? 35, put the 5, carry the 3. We have 35 again, plus 3 is what? 38. Put the 8, carry the what? 3. Then I have 7 times 3, which is what? 4. Plus 3.
24.
24. What do I do right here? Add a 0. 1 times 5? 1 times 5? 3 times 1? 3. What do I do now? Add. I get 5. 8 plus 5?
13.
Put the 3, carry the.
34.
This is going to be 10, carry the.
1.
And then I have a
6,034.
So I moved the decimal point over how many times? 2.
You have to
Because in
move
my
it.
cloud I had a 2. I have a number here. It says 60.35. Is that how much the iPad costs now?
Yeah.
No. This is the discount amount. So that's not how much it costs. As I'm looking at your answers, lots of you guys chose this. You fell for the trick. The iPad costs $355. And we get $60.35 off. So discount means that you need to do what? Subtract. So if you did not subtract the first time, then that was your mistake. You want to be pay very close attention to what the problem is asking. What was the discount amount that we just discovered? $60 and what? So now go ahead and calculate how much that iPad costs. Because it's on sale, we're not paying $355, but it's not going to go all the way down to $60. When you're doing your subtraction, I want you to make sure to borrow to line it up to make sure that the number that you're subtracting is over the other number. We have about 30 more seconds before we have to move on to the next thing. So.
I got 285.
So, you guys looking up here? This was answer choice number B. Answer choice number A was 60.35. Can somebody tell me why the answer was not 60.35 and what was 60.35? What was 60.35? The discount, but what does this represent? The what? The total, okay. So what I want you guys to do now is there is going to be in Illuminate, there's going to be a classwork activity that I want you guys to go in there. There's 5 questions and I want you to go through those 5 questions and submit when you get done to see your results, okay? You'll be doing that all the way up until it's time to go. All right, 1, 2, 3, eyes on me.
1, 2. Eyes on you.
All right, so there are some people who are on Learn Zillion. What I want to do is I want to give you a warning that you need to go ahead and move to the classwork on Do Now. On Illuminate. In Illuminate, I selected 5 practice questions for you to solve for discount, for tip, and for the percent of a number. So if you are still on Learn Zillion right now, I'm instructing you to go ahead and move to the classwork on Illuminate. You're doing the one that says CW. Get it?
Got it.
All right. I want you guys to close your computer because you're gonna be doing. Yeah, I'll take a look. My computer's talking to you. Then do you know what you should be doing right now? Then I don't want to hear any talking. Please, I want you to focus on the 5 problems because you're about to have an exit ticket in just a minute. All right. Back in a second. What do you need? No. Please go to class. So where's your pass? All right. So what did you guys get on the exit ticket? How'd you do? Right. Kendall, can I have you? Oh, you already connected. Okay. So I'm going to leave you with a couple of problems to talk about if you got what you got one. You got one. Okay. So problem number 2, a lot of people are wrong. Problem number 2 says that an iPad costs $355 and that was 17% off, right? So in order for us to do this problem, we need to do multiplication. What I want you to do on the back of your Learn Zillion paper is to multiply 355 times 0.17. You take some time to do that. And then which problem did you do? Go ahead and do 1 over number 1 cent. Well, he gets 30% of 60, so I want you to do like 30% of 60. I want you to do 30% of 60 then. So, sweetie, when we multiply 2 numbers, right? And then I knew that that was wrong because whenever you're doing 2 digits, you need to have 2 rows of numbers. I'm not sure what you're asking, sweetie. I need you to continue to work. It's already somebody out. I don't have a lot of time. The percent is 3. So you do it for the percent sign. It's not going to have solving for percent. About 2.5 minutes have gone. We kind of briefed you on what we're doing today. We're going to take a little break on area and perimeter, and we will come back to that very shortly. And we have to add in like volume, start talking about 3D shapes and all of that. But I have something else that I want to do in the meantime. All right, so the only thing you need out is this in a pencil. You need that out in front of you. Eyes on me. 1, 2, 3. All right, so I want to make sure that your energy level is up. I know you just came from lunch, but what we're about to do is important. I'll know that you are hearing me because you'll be tracking me as I'm moving around the room. You'll be calling and responding. You'll be holding up your hand if you have questions. And we're going to make it through this lesson and really learn some things. So to start off this lesson, I want to talk about the test that we took last week. We took a practice SBAC test. You guys remember that?
Yes.
We took it in the morning. So I went through the test and I looked at some of our results, and we didn't do as well as I know that we could have done. So what I did is I went and I picked a question that I want to focus on today because I want to show you that you can make the growth, and I want to show myself that you can do it. So let me go ahead and show you guys the chart. We like to see pie charts. We've been dealing with statistics, and so we know a lot about what pie charts say. I have the pie chart of the test that we took, and I want to see what you guys think about it.
is for the whole school.
This is for the whole school. Yep. This was all 80 of us who took it. What does this make you feel? What are you thinking? I see your faces. We can do better, right?
Yeah.
All right, so I picked one question. This was the lowest question. We got 4.8% correct. And so I'm gonna go through the lesson, do a mini review, and we're gonna go ahead and take a couple of different, I'm gonna give you a couple of different opportunities to show me that you really know it. What the topic was it was on percents and it was on discounts. And I remember in class when we were doing that, you guys did relatively well, but for some reason when we're taking tests, that's not showing up. So I'm gonna give you a second opportunity to learn the material, to review it, and then to show me what you know. So we're gonna go ahead and look at these notes that I gave you, have that out, and only that, and let's get ready to look at it. So, by the end of the class today, you will be able to estimate and calculate a percent of a number. You're going to read the second one as a class on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Calculate sales tax and or discount.
Sales tax and or discount. Perfect. So we're going to quickly review the vocabulary words, and then we're going to review 2 steps that are going to help you, and then we're going to do a few practice problems, and then you're going to show me what you know. So let's start off with estimate. This says to estimate is to calculate the approximate value of a number. Go ahead and underline approximate. Approximate does not mean the exact number, but it means about the number. So thinking about taking tests, why would it be good to estimate what your answer is going to be before you get to the answer? How can estimations help us in solving for percent? Go ahead and turn to your neighbor, and I'll give you 20 seconds to discuss, and I'm going to call on somebody, so go ahead and discuss. Can you check in with this real quick? Why is it important to estimate? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right. I heard somebody say so that you don't get the answer wrong. I heard some people say estimating so that you don't do all of that work. Messiah, what did you say? What did you guys talk about?
Oh, I was gonna ask if I can get the paper.
Sure. Next
Right
time do
there,
that
it's on
before
the
we
back
get
of that
started,
paper.
okay?
Oh, never mind. Sorry.
All right. So approximating the answer can help us to know what we're looking for. Today we're going to be doing a lot of multiplying, subtracting, or adding. So we have to know what we're looking for before we go into the problem. Next it says sales tax. What's our next word?
Sales tax.
Sales tax is a fee that the state or government adds to the total amount. So when you go to the store, whatever the item is, we know that we always have to pay a little bit extra, and that money is called a sales tax. Thinking about a discount and a sale, who likes sales? When things are on sale, you get to pay what? Half or less or 50%. So the price of a discount or a markup is the amount that is subtracted from the amount that's on sale. I also call it a markdown because that's physically what stores do. We get the discount, but in the store they actually go and mark down the price and write a new price on there. Next we have a tip. Thinking about when we go to a restaurant, what we learned before is that we leave tips for gratitude. Is that going to make our price go up or down? Up. So whatever our food costs, we'll have to pay a little bit more. So tip is the amount added to the bill at a restaurant. And then markup. Markup is the amount the store adds to the merchandise. All right. So when we go to a store, we know what we're paying, Nyla, at the store is going to be a little bit more than what the store paid for because that's how they make a profit. So there are 2 steps that I want to quickly go over. The first step talks about multiplication. So in step 1 blank, you need to write multiply. Whenever we're dealing with percents, our first step is always going to be to multiply the whole number with the percent. And in order to multiply a whole number with a percent, well, you need to convert the percent to a decimal. If I have the percent 75%, who remembers how we convert 75% to a decimal? How do you do it, Isaiah?
You do, no, add decimal point to back.
2 times to the left. So 75% will equal 0.75. And again, you guys, this is a review lesson, so I understand that some of you guys are taking notes, but right now I'm calling and responding because I'm about to move very fast and you're about to take a quick test. So show me that you've learned this before, because you have. You actually have taken these definitions before, so this is not anything new. So show me that. Next it says, depending on if we have sales tax or discount, our step 2 is going to be different. So go ahead and write a step A and a B, because step 1 is always to multiply. For step 2, if it's sales tax, tip, and markdown, that's going to make our price go what? Up. So step 2, if your price is going up, will always be to add the amount to the total. Whereas with discount and markdown, your price is going what? Down. So that means that you are going to subtract. Thank you, Nyla. Thank you, Isaiah. Right now, I am taking participation points, so I want to make sure that I hear from everybody. Discount and markdown, you subtract the discount from the original amount. So we have 3 questions that I'm going to do. I am going to call and respond because, again, this is review. So I may pause and have you do some quick calculations and then be ready to share your answers with me. This is a very basic question. This question actually came straight from the SBAC test. Some of us, when we see this little box, we get confused. That box is just saying fill in the blank. What number is 40% of 80? I'm not asking for the answer yet. I want to go back up to this thing about estimation. When we deal with percents are a part and a whole. Our whole right now is 80. We want a little piece of 80. Based off these multiple choice questions, what 2 answer choices can I eliminate? Because I'm only want a piece of 80. So think about what I'm saying. I want 80 is my total, and I want 30%, which is a part of 80. Which 2 answer choices can I eliminate? Lyndon.
D and C.
How do you know and why?
C and D are
Too big, bigger than what? 80. And if I just want a piece of 80, then I'm not going to be getting 320 or 3,200. Good. So my answer either has to be A or B. What we just said is to find the percent you need to multiply. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply 80 by 0.40. I've converted my percent to a decimal in order for me to go ahead and multiply. I want to stress this step of putting our decimal points in a little cloud to help us keep track of where we move our decimal in our answer. Because as we notice here, all of these answer choices look the same. The only thing that's different is a decimal. So it's important to know where your decimal place goes. So before I even solve, I know that my answer either has to be 3.2 or 32. And I know that in my answer, I'm moving the decimal point over how many times? 2. Because with the 40, the decimal point was 2 times to the left. So now I'm going to quickly do my multiplication. Go ahead and multiply 80 times 0.40. I'm going to do 0 times 0 and 0 times 8. I'm going to skip a space. 4 times 0 is 0, and 8 times 4 is 32. I'm going to move my decimal point over 2 times because that's what the decimal in 0.40 told me. So my answer is 32.00, which is also 32. So my answer is B. My answer is B. So when you are given a multiple choice question, please be strategic about the problems that you know are not right, and then don't get caught up by numbers looking the same. The decimal point is important. $3.20 is completely different than $32, which is completely different than $320. So this key step will help you. Let's look at tip. We have a friend named Bill, and he's at the salad bar. The bill was $23 and the tip was 15%. I need to multiply the bill times the amount of tip that I'm going to leave. So who can tell me what 2 numbers I need to multiply by each other? Amaya? And 15. Is it 15 or is it a decimal?
Decimal.
It's a decimal. Jake, if I have 15%, what do I convert that to?
0.15.
0.15, Amaya. So what do I need to add here? A dot for decimal. Go ahead and multiply. Right now what you're solving for is the tip. This is how much we're going to leave to show gratitude for our waiter. How how many decimal points are in our little cloud to help us remind? 2. All right. I've done my multiplication. I have 3, 4, 5. My answer told me to move the decimal point over 2 times. So if I start to the left, 2 times to the left, my answer is $3.45. So, is this my answer?
No.
This is the tip amount. If I bought something that cost $23 and I only leave $3.45, I'll be in some trouble. This is actually what I'm leaving in addition to what my meal cost. So if we have our meal for $23 and we're going to, is tip gonna make our price go up or down? Up, so I need to do what operation? Add, so I'm gonna add $3.45. $26.45 is our total. All right. What was our tip amount? How much is the waiter gonna get?
3.45.
So I'm gonna pause for just about 30 seconds, and I want you to read this question. You've seen this question before. This was the question where we got 4% on. So I wanna give you 30 seconds to go ahead and read this question and familiarize yourself with it one more time. I'll know that you're reading the question because people are circling things. I see Jimena circling things. I also see Eva's pen underlining. Take about 10 more seconds. So we have 2 boys. What are they buying? Video games. They're actually selling the video games. One person is selling the game for 25% off. The other one is selling the game for 35% off. We know with video games you can trade them back in. How much did the video game cost originally? $40. So go ahead and put an arrow at this question. This question says enter how much more money in dollars Jason received for his video game than Mark. So this is incorporating the questions that we just did up here, but it's just worded a little bit differently. What I noticed is that when people took this, the test, they got part of the problem right, but they did not fully answer the question. So what we need to do is we need to calculate how much Jason sold it for. What percentage did Jason sell it for? So the original cost was 40, but he sold it for 25% off. Mark's sold it for 40, but his price was 30% off. I'm gonna go ahead and pause and give you a moment to calculate how much Jason is gonna sell his for, and then how much Mark is gonna sell his for. Make sure that you use your decimal point. Make sure you use the cloud to show your work. All right. 0 times 5 is 0. 4 times 5 is 20. We skip a space. Put a 0 as a placeholder. 2 times 0 is 0, and 4 times 2 is 8. I get 0, 0, and 10. I move my decimal point over twice. So it looks like he sold his for $10 off. Now I want to know the difference between Jason and Mark. So I need to do the same thing for Mark. If you didn't already do Mark's, then go ahead and do it. Whew. How much did Mark sell his for? $12. Did it ask me for how much Jason sold it for? No. Did it ask me how much Mark sold it for? No. It asked me for the difference. Go ahead and circle the difference, or how much more. Well, if he sold it for 12 and he sold it for 10, how much more did he sell it for? $2 more. So what I noticed is that on the test, some people put 10, some people put 12. Not that many people put 2. So what's going to happen now is we're going to show what we know. After you finish writing down these problems, I want you to put your pencil down. Alright. I almost have 100% of Gerson's Pavilion. I have 100% of you all. Thank you. Kendall, I need your attention, please. Alright. So, what you just had a chance to review is how estimation can help you find your answer when you're multiplying percents. Depending on whether you're finding the discount or a markdown, your price may go down. So step 2 may be to subtract. But if it's a tip, then or sales tax, then your price might go up. So the key steps are multiplying and then either adding or subtracting. What I've done is I've created an exit ticket for you. and an entrance ticket, I'm sorry. And what this ticket is gonna do is to allow me, who needs a little bit more practice and who hasn't. Regardless, we all need more practice because clearly we only got 4%. So whatever you score now, you will still have some sort of practice. It'll just be targeted. So what's gonna happen is you're gonna log on to exittick.com and you're gonna create the quiz. The quiz is not something that's gonna take all period. It's gonna be something quick and to the point. So I will be setting a timer, and when the timer goes off, I do need you to submit your test so that I can instruct you to what group to go to. What questions do we have before we begin, Isaiah?
Is it going to be like when the people who took the entrance ticket last time? Is it how it goes?
I'll explain. Is it something having to do with what I just said about what you're about to do now? Or is it about what we're doing after? After. I will explain after. Thank you. So go ahead and grab the computer, and I would like for you to log on to exittick.org. Once most people are logged in, I will be starting the timer. No notes. You can go ahead. I see some people flipping their notes over because they're going to show me what they know, what they remember. So I hope you just say thank you for showing integrity. All right, I see John is logged in. Alright, I see that most students are logged in and are working on question number 1. I'm going to go ahead and set a 5-minute timer. We may not need the whole time, but when the timer goes off, it's expected that your results will have been submitted.